How do you find yourself reacting to this economy shift? We're seeing some crazy things going on. The coronavirus, businesses closed down, lives put on hold. But as a real estate agent, you have so much in your control to take your business, make it survive, and then thrive as well, because there's huge opportunities here. And I know it's hard to look at those and see them sometimes, because this is nothing to laugh at, this virus and what it's doing. It's a tragedy. But in every tragedy, there's some kind of silver lining, and there's something that we can do as real estate agents to be proactive, sustain our business, and thrive. We've seen it in the housing bubble. We've seen it 2001, the terrorist attacks. We've seen how things go down, they come back up. And those who are proactive, those who are engaged in the real estate, those are not just the ones that survive, they actually thrive in a time where a lot of agents are crashing and burning. And I really liked what Gary Keller said when he talked to his agents and really everybody in the industry. And his 4 points were, number one, pay attention. We can't ignore this. We can't deny it. It's there. It's in our face. We need to pay attention, be aware, lean into the market as it is today, and be proactive in it. Double down on your leads that you have. Really hone in on your sphere, because that's where your leads and listings are going to come from. And then budget. Budget accordingly. Spend money on the things that support those actions you're doing. The basics. Face-to-face, which maybe you can't now, so it's virtual, it's phone call, it's being proactive. That's what we need to do. It's easy to get overwhelmed with the news media. We need to be aware, but we need to focus on how we can serve our community, and that is done best by going back to the basics of being a real estate agent and helping guide people in a time of need. Now, I was just talking to an agent in California. He's had all sorts of things come up, right? There's a lot going on in California right now. And here's what he had to say about what's going on.
So the bottom line with real estate is it's a people business. It's a people business. So even in '09, one of the things that I had to do was I was authorized by Bank of America to be the guy that knocks on the door and say, hey, you haven't paid your bills in a year.
That's a fun.
And bank's going to give you $5,000 for cash for keys, and you need to vacate the property with a guaranteed short sale. And people thought that was end times, because we had real estate signs on every neighborhood. There were dozens and dozens of signs in every neighborhood. You drive down the street and you would see just foreclosures and short sales nonstop. Having gone through all that, I can tell you honestly, today's environment is 100 times better. The bottom line is this time the sellers are actually going to be more in control than the buyers. The buyers are in control back then. It has to do with inventory. And as we know, 6 months or more inventory on supply equals a buyer's market. And back then we had 18 months of supply. I mean, we had so much supply that it was a buyer's market. Today, in our local metro and actually nationwide, we're looking at 2 to 3 months of inventory. And so it's more of a seller's market.
Brian's been through the housing bubble. We've been through it too. Seen what 2001 did, the terrorist attack to the economy, the housing bubble. Here's the thing. They were tragedies just like we're seeing today with this pandemic. But there's a silver lining, and there's an opportunity for you not to just survive, but thrive. As a real estate agent, the number one thing that you will see crashing and burning around you are other real estate agents. That's what will crash and burn, not so much the economy. It's the other agents who roll over and give up. The reality, they'll just do that. But if you become proactive, you take advantage of all those opportunities that they're leaving behind. So the biggest point, we want to prepare for the shift. The shift right now, we are seeing sellers and buyers who are concerned about this pandemic, right? The economy side they're concerned about, then they're concerned about everyday things. The cleanliness of a home, if they're going to be exposed to a virus or something similar. So we need to take this and put our clients at ease by letting them know that we have it under control. We're not controlling the virus, but we're being proactive. That's going to be the biggest thing, is putting your prospects, your clients at ease, Because if we're tripping over ourselves, if we're freaking out, we're going to portray that to our prospects and they're going to start doing the same. That's not how people buy or sell real estate. But the truth of the matter is, people will buy or sell in this environment. And who will they buy or sell with? The agents that are proactive. I just talked to Colleen as well. Let me share what she had to say about adapting to this pandemic.
I have the other, I mean, it's not my client, but the other agent is bringing a client, but I assured our sellers, you know, I will be present at every showing. It's going to be a little more work for me, but it gives my sellers the assurance that, you know, people are being monitored in their home, or that if something happens, I'll be able to report that to them. As far as, you know, I'm sorry, I'm going to let you know the person that came through never stopped sneezing. You might want to, you know, go buy a case of Clorox wipes, whatever the situation is, and then reassuring them to clean the house up afterwards.
So first off, I would say outline your process for today's reality. You want to vet buyers who are coming into a house if you have a listing. Or if you're trying to get a listing, let your prospects know that you will be vetting buyers that come into the house to make sure they've gone through all the steps before they see the property. Be present on all showings, like Colleen said there. Open the doors, wipe down the door handles with disinfectant. Small things make a huge difference in how your prospects will perceive you and feel comfortable around you. Right now, we're still in a seller's market. This is what we need to lean into, like Gary Keller said, as an agent. Prices are still good. Buyers are still out there. And we need to approach the market as it is today and then be ready to adapt as it comes along. So how can you approach the seller's market we have today more effectively? It's not always about price now. I talk to many agents and they say, Joe, I'm putting in offers below the other offers and they're being accepted. What they're doing is they're putting in more earnest money, a more solid offer, because sellers are concerned that buyers are going to back out now. So they're doing a larger deposit, and it's attractive to sellers. They're not requesting all these favors, the washer, the dryer, small repairs. They're letting those slide, and the sellers like that. They're delaying buyer possession of the property. We see sellers in homes now, and they need more time to move out because what's going on. With all this uncertainty, buyers are having a hard time getting their offers accepted. But when there's a little delay, maybe give the seller 3 weeks to move out. That's going to help your offer be more attractive than the other offers on the property. Submit a pre-approval proof of funds documentation that's up to date with the offer. These are ways that you can get offers accepted if you're dealing with buyers, or you might want to navigate through that with a seller you have, because sellers are concerned about buyers backing out with all this uncertainty. And so right now what we're seeing currently is it's not necessarily the highest price that's getting accepted. It's those concrete offers that are being accepted because there's a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace. But the biggest point I want to make here, be ready for the next shift, whatever it is, yet still lean into the market of what's going on today. Still, we have a shortage of inventory, but there's opportunities out there to get your offer accepted if you're representing a buyer. But be ready for the next shift. Maybe it becomes a buyer's market. Maybe it stays a seller's market. Overseas investors. I saw something on the news that even though with this pandemic, it's worse in other places than in the U.S., and that's attracting investors to the U.S. who want to invest in real estate because it's a solid investment. So we may see that as well. The biggest thing to remember here, whatever the shift is, be ready. Here's the reality of it. We need food, clothing, and shelter. Shelter, homes. Real estate is still going to continue to be bought or sold no matter where the values go up and down. We've seen it before, we'll see it again. What I want to leave you with is embrace the changes that we can't control. We can't control what goes on with this pandemic, the economy, but be aware, be engaged, and embrace the changes as they come, because those who adapt, they're not just going to survive. Those are the agents who are going to thrive. Just like when Brian and Colleen got into the market, they made it through the downturn, and that's where they really started thriving, because as other agents fell away, they honed in, they focused on what they needed to, embrace change, and you can do the same with what we're seeing today.